Isabel has been consumed with anger since her father's death, and she isn't sure why. But when she seeks professional help, she realizes it might have been a terrible mistake, one that sets in motion a sequence of events that will endanger her and everyone she loves. It sounds pretty good. I love books where you have multiple characters whose stories slowly come together. I just find them so entertaining, and they're the type of books that make it so that I can't put them down. This doesn't look terribly long either. About 350 pages. Looks like there was somebody who started this and used this as a bookmark. It was not me, but I will put this out to the side and see if it's something that I should give back. So yeah, I love when it's like every chapter is somebody different, like they're different perspectives. I'm excited to read this one. This next one is The Girl Who Lived Twice, Elizabeth Salander novel by David Lagerkrantz, continuing Stieg Larsson's Millennium series. So, I can't believe that I have not read this book. I loved the other books in the Millennium series. I think I didn't realize that it went on. And I don't know how I missed that. But I also know Stieg Larsson passed away, and this David Lagerkrantz, I think, helped write or finish at some point one of or all of the novels. I'm not sure exactly how it went, but this is such a good series. It's super, super intense, but it's good mysteries. I love Lisbeth, like the main character. She is inspiring. She is a badass. She has been through and continues to go through a lot of really shitty situations, and yeah, she's a great character. I think Stieg Larsson did an amazing job creating her. So what's wild, even more wild than me not having read this, is that I found it in our house. I was going through old she's told no one where she is, and no one is aware that at long last she's got her primal enemy, her twin sister Camilla, squarely in her sights. Michael Blomkvist is trying to reach Lisbeth. He needs her help unraveling the identity of a man who lived and died on the streets in Stockholm. A man who does not exist in any official records, and whose garbled last words hinted at possible damaging knowledge of people in the highest echelons of government and industry. In his pocket was a crumpled piece of paper with Blomkvist's phone number on it. Once again, Salander and Blomkvist will come to each other's aid, moving in tandem toward the truths they seek. In the end, it will be Blomkvist, in a moment of unimaginable self-sacrifice, who will make it possible for Lisbeth to face the most important battle of her life and finally put her past to rest. I love this Blomkvist and Lisbeth's relationship. I love the way it's written and the way that they trust each other, but also the way that they don't need each other until they're like in trouble. Like they really respect each other. And I love it. So I'm excited to read this. I did look and make sure that I'm caught up and that there's not another one before this that I should read. I might need a little refresher on what happened in the last book. But yeah, so this is David Lagerkrantz, and I did just make sure I have read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with Fire, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, and The Girl in the Spider's Web. Oh, and The Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye. Anyways, I don't know. It seems like one of these, that Eye for an Eye, may be after this one. But anyhow, I did make sure that this would be the next one that I should read. And I can read about this author too. He is an acclaimed Swedish author and journalist. In 2015, The Girl in the Spider's Web, his continuation. Okay, so The Girl with the Spider's Web, the fourth, right? Yeah. And the series became a worldwide bestseller, followed by The Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye in 2017. He is the author of numerous biographies, including the international best-selling memoir, I Am, and I am not going to be able to pronounce that. It's Latin. I don't know. And the acclaimed novel, Fall of Man in Wilmslow, based on the death and life of Alan Turing. So this will be a really good read. This is all the praise for the series. I did watch, I think there's actually two different films. I watched the one with Daniel Craig for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and it was good. Has anybody else read this series? Did you enjoy it? This will be a fun one to get to. And then mysterious relic and a dying pope's final wish converge to send two brothers, both Vatican priests, on an intellectual quest to untangle Christianity's greatest historical mystery. Also, per usual, if you can hear some soft snoring in the background, it's my dog. She is right across from me looking very, very cozy, and I don't want to wake her to make her stop, so I hope it adds to your relaxation. 10 years ago, Ian Caldwell and Dustin Thompson's The Rule of Four became a literary phenomenon that sold nearly 2 million copies in North America and was hailed by critics as ingenious, profoundly erudite, compulsively readable, an exceptional piece of scholarship. Now, after a decade of painstaking primary research, Ian Caldwell returns with a masterful new thriller that confirms his place among the most ambitious popular storytellers working today. In 2004, as Pope John Paul II's reign enters its twilight, a mysterious exhibit is under construction at the Vatican Museums. A week before it is scheduled to open, its curator is murdered at a clandestine meeting on the outskirts of Rome. That same night, a violent break-in rocks the home of the curator's research partner, Father Alex Andreou, a Greek Catholic priest who lives inside the Vatican with his 5-year-old son. When the papal police fail to identify a suspect in either crime, Father Alex, desperate to keep his family safe, undertakes his own investigation. To find the killer, he must reconstruct the dead curator's secret. What the four Christian Gospels, a little-known truth-to-life fifth gospel, known as the Diatessaron, reveal about the Church's most controversial holy relic. But just as he begins to understand the truth about his friend's death and its consequences for the future of the world's two largest, it says, continue on the back flap. Christian churches. Father Alex finds himself hunted down by someone with a vested stake in the exhibit, someone he must outwit to survive. At once a riveting intellectual thriller, a feast of biblical history and scholarship, and a moving family drama. The Fifth Gospels is a story of sacrifice, forgiveness, and redemption, peppered with references to real-life people, places, and events. The narrative rings true, taking the reader on an emotional journey nearly 2,000 years in the making. And then this is Ian Caldwell. And then I love when, books include a map when needed. I'm assuming it's pretty needed in this, and it is just a map of the Vatican City. So I'm sure when I read this will be very helpful to look at. I have been see. It's supposed to look like a very worn book. So this one sounds really interesting. It kind of makes me want to read this other, The Rule of Four, first, but I don't know that they're related, so since I have this one, I'll probably just read this one first. But it sounds really good. And it looks pretty long. I mean, it sounds like he did a ton of research, so there will be a lot of things. I like that too. It was the same thing with the Dan Brown books, where it does relate to real places, real people, all of that, but it is a fiction book. I always find those so entertaining. So that is my little book haul for you today. I hope you found this relaxing, maybe a little bit interesting, maybe some books to add to your TBR. If you've gotten this far,